Hey guys, how's it going? Chase here, and welcome to the first video of my brand new channel. And this is going to be my first video is going to be a showcase on something that I built in Redstone and Minecraft with Redstone and Minecraft. And what it is it is a Minecraft computer. Now, this is a 4-bit computer, and it's nowhere near as compact as it could be. As you can see, this right here is the ROM, and it takes up about a third of the computer, if not well over that, and it keeps on going until here, until this right here, and then it goes down, and you have to have the output right here. And yeah, then my massive, oh crap, lag, shit, and then my massive GPU right here. This thing is, it's pretty good. It's got a reset set. It's fairly compact, I guess you can say. And anyways, this is my first attempt at actually building a Minecraft computer, and it's pretty good, I guess. I mean, I'm nowhere near good at Redstone for things that I've tried and stuff, but let's just move on to what this computer can do. What this computer does is it runs a sequence in Minecraft known as a Fibonacci sequence. And for those of you who don't know what the Fibonacci sequence is, I did a kind of a display over here to get myself straightened out with it as well. But basically what it is you have two numbers, usually a 0 and a 1. We're going to use this right here having no block, and this right here having a block to represent a 0 and a 1. And the sequence is that you add the two together, and 0 and 1 is obviously 1. And then the result of that is going to be added into the second digit of the previous sum. Yeah. So then you're going to take 1 and 1, and that's going to be 2. Then you're going to take this 2 and add it to the previous one right here, which is a 1. Not that one, but this one. So 2 and 1 is going to be 3. So just represent that with 3. And then you have 3 and add it to this number right here, which is kind of like the y digit. And 3 plus 2 is 5. And then 5 plus 3 is 8. 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to take this 8 and add it to the previous digit, and you're going to get 13. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, yeah. As you can see, if the numbers get any bigger, right here it's kind of slow. The numbers are very similar. But as you get higher numbers, it's going to be 13 plus 8, which is 21, and it's going to extend 21. It's going to be 21 plus 13 is going to be 35, I believe. Yeah, or something like that. 34. I don't know. I'm tired. I just woke up and cannot think straight and do not care to even think the math right now. But yeah, it's going to exponentially increase, and it'll create like a curve. And for those of you who want to read more on the Fibonacci sequence and the golden spiral, which is the curvature that it makes, it's a perfect ratio of I think it's like 1.3 or something like that. And yeah, I will leave a link to the Wikipedia page for this in the description. And it displays the result in hexadecimal on the screen, and I will also leave a link to a Wikipedia page for hexadecimal for those of you who do not understand it. It is fairly easy to understand. I'll do a quick run over of it right now. Basically, you have the same as decimal. You have numbers 0 through 9, and then after 9, instead of having to have a 1 and a 0 and having to have two displays, one to display the 1, one to display the 0, you could just have one display and display an A, the letter A. So you can fit up to 15 digits in hexadecimal onto one screen, because it goes from 0 to 9 and then from A to F. And this right here is a 4-bit computer, so the highest it can display up to is 15, but the highest number in the Fibonacci sequence that it can display up to, I'm falling through everything right now, is D, which is 13, because the next number in the Fibonacci sequence will be 21, and that's above 15, so you need a second screen to display that, because that would be like F and 6, yeah, it would be like F6 to display that. So anyways, I'm dragging this entire tutorial on. I'm just going to show you what this thing does real quick. I'll only show like 2 numbers because this thing is very slow and it'll take a long time to display everything. I'll display up to 5 just to show you it doesn't count 1, 2, 3, and then leave you hanging thinking the next number might be a possible 4. It will actually display a 5. Let me just go over here and yeah, I can turn this off now. basically what I just did is I waited for it to go to ROM line 3. This is 0, 1, or no, ROM line 2 right there. And then once it went to ROM line 2, I can turn off the Y input to allow it to add it to itself, because it will cycle back through. But as you can just see, it displays a 1 first, and it's going to go back to 0 by default because it has to do another cycle through, and on the reset, it will display a 0. So next it's going to display a 2. And over here to my right, this is the GPU, which is supposed to graph the stuff out, and it does work, kind of. As you can see, it displayed a 2 on the 7-segment display. I have it working to display, as you can see, it displayed a 2 right there, but it only works on the x-axis right here. It will not delve into the y-axis or anything, so it's not going to make the parabola that it's supposed to make along here. And I'm sorry for all the lag. I'm running a massive Minecraft computer right now, so I kind of deserve it. But as you can see, it's displaying a 3, and it just switched back to a 0. And yeah, next is going to be a 5, and then I will turn this thing off and show you guys a tour of everything that the cycle goes through. It's really not that complicated to understand, and it will only take a few minutes to really explain it. And there's your 5. Next would be an 8, and then a D because that's 13. Now I'm going to get a lot of lag because I'm turning it off, and it's got to reset everything. So yeah, I'm at like really low FPS right now. Anyways, let's just get into this now. So you have your 2 inputs that come in right here. You have your Y1, which is the first thing I put in, and that kind of comes down here, and it splits off into 2 D flip-flops. You have your first one right here on the top, and you have your second one down here on the bottom. And then both of those get enabled and ORed back together, and the enabling and all that stuff and refreshing for everything that has a process goes in through the ROM. So the enabling for it will go through the ROM, the refresh for the D flip-flops will go through the ROM, the zeroing, which is right here, you could either zero the X, the Y, or you can zero them both to not allow any inputs through whatsoever. And right now they're both off, as you can see, so they're not zeroing at all, and they don't zero in the entire sequence ever. And so yeah. And then your outputs come here, and then they go into these XOR gates right here, and these are used for subtracting. I will do another video on subtracting if you guys request it, because it's actually fairly easy to understand, and it's not that complicated to understand subtraction. You really just invert one of the X or the Y inputs, one of them, and then you add 1 to the least significant bit, which is right here. This is the carry-in, and this is used to do a method known as 2's complement. And the output of your XOR gates after that, continuing on, they go into the adders on the top. Sorry about that, I had a voice crack. And they go into ORing down below, which is right somewhere around here. I can't find it right now. Where is it at? Holy crap, I'm lost. Oh, here it is. Okay, here's the ORing. I got lost for a second in the wiring. I was like, where am I? No! And yeah. So then the outputs come out here and they get ORed back together, and then they go into this right here, which is the RAM. This is not 1 bit of RAM. This is 4 bits of RAM right here, with a 4-bit saving as well. And let me just speed over here to show you the RAM cell itself. It is fairly compact. It is 2 by 3 by 12, so it's not that compact in height, but it is fairly compact in width and length. But yeah, this RAM right here has a lot of features, and I did not come up with this RAM. I will leave a link to the channel and a link to the channel in the description. That is the one who came up with the RAM himself, and he's a he's a very smart guy. He came up with this RAM, so yeah. And he also did a tutorial on this exact design of the computer. I kind of followed it, but then I kind of went off on my own tangent and started placing stuff everywhere, and I followed him up until the random number generator, and after that I plugged everything in to where it needed to be, and then I followed him on the GPU because I've never done a GPU in my life before, but he does a really good tutorial on how to build a computer in Minecraft. But anyways, let's continue on before I rant and that was placed in the wrong place. So basically you have 3 possible inputs. You have your basic 0 and 1 input. This is where your value comes in to be saved. You have this, which is enabling for it. And then you have this, which is, well, this is kind of like enabling, I guess. It saves the input in, so you don't have to have this torch on here forever and keep it saved. You just save it, and then you could break that torch off. You don't need a current there anymore. And then you have this right here, which is the actual enabling. And by default, it's de-enabling any outputs from coming out, so no possible outputs can come out right now. But if I were to enable it, we would have our input come through because I inputted a 1 and saved it in. And I'm going to leave that enabled by default. So now if I input a 0, which I'm sorry about that, I didn't save it. But if I input a 0 right here and save it, it will turn off. Then if I input a 1, de-enable it, save it, don't need that anymore, don't need that anymore either, and then I enable it, it will output it, and then I de-enable it. But yeah, it's pretty compact. Like I said, 2 by 3 by 12. You don't need compact in height because I can just take this down as low as I want to, really. And yeah, so that then the RAM comes down here. The output is right there. All the outputs are ORed together for each 4-bit, and then those outputs are separate from this output, but it still all comes here. And then these 4 outputs from the 4 RAM cells then come down here, and then they cycle back in through the input and repeat the cycle all over again, which is how you get the looping, so it's never ending really, which is why you're constantly able to output numbers, and you don't have to constantly input a new number and then start the clock back up again. But yeah, then your inputs come into here, which is the mux, which then inputs into a 7-segment decoder, which goes straight to the 7-segment display. The inputs also go into the right here, which is the D flip-flops for the, there's two high D flip-flops. There's this D flip-flop right here, and then this one right here. And both of those go into this right here, and I didn't know what this was until I saw the tutorial for it by the channel that did the entire how to build a computer tutorial. This is apparently an XY coordinate selector, and when this right here is enabled, as you can see, the 0 comes through, and the 0 comes through over there, right there on that torch. So by default it's 0, 0, and by default that's what comes through. And what's really cool about this is if this right here is de-enabled, I believe if it's de-enabled, you can select individual points on a grid, but if you were to enable the entire line, then it would choose an entire line. So if you were to have points right here and a point right here, if this was de-enabled, it would just show those 2 points on the screen. But if you had this enabled, it would show all of the inputs through here in a line to create a full line. I need to fix that. Where are you, Redstone? There you are. Okay, good. Gotcha. And then that goes into this right here, which is, it's a GPU that has a save function for an RS-NOR, or reset function for the RS-NOR, and this is all the wiring for the 2-pixel display. That's 1 pixel right there. I'll just highlight it with this. This would be 1 pixel on the GPU. And yeah, and then it just outputs to the 7-segment display. So I guess that's it for this tutorial, and I showed you how it runs and everything. And in a separate tutorial, if you'd like, I could do a tutorial on the random number generator, which is over there. And it's pretty fast, actually. And if you guys want a tutorial on subtraction or anything like that, just let me know, and I will do a tutorial. And over there, I'm going to do another video pretty soon on what that is. It's nowhere near done. It's very easy, just a high bit function is what it is. And I'm working on a couple other redstone projects, so you guys can keep a lookout for that. And that's it for this video, I guess. So leave a like if you enjoyed, favorite, comment, rate, subscribe. Rating is the same as liking, but still, do it because you enjoyed the video. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.